Trent Leyshan is the founder and CEO of Australia's #1 sales training company, Boom Sales. Sales expert and fast growth specialist and author of 2 business titles, Outlaw and The Naked Salesman. Not for the Average podcast exposes the secrets to extraordinary performance in sales, entrepreneurship and business growth. Warning, this show is not for the average.
Welcome for the Not For The Average podcast. I'm your host, Trent Leyshan. Today we are very fortunate to be joined by Jake Bridges from Leading Teams. And today we're going to explore how to create a high performance team. Welcome, Jake.
Thanks, Trent. Lovely to be here, mate.
Great to see you, mate. You're looking fit.
I'm trying my best. I'm running around with 2 little kids, and my wife and Kylie kept me. We're all pretty healthy, and so now enjoying life at the moment. So
awesome. You're putting me to shame. You've got the guns out here.
No,
so
it's a bit cold in Ballarat.
I'll post that on Instagram. Get the guns out. Get the guns out. Well, hey, Jake. Thanks for joining us today.
Yep.
And I certainly know a lot about leading teams, but some of our listeners and our viewers may not.
Yeah.
So we're talking today about how to create a high-performance team.
Yep.
And we can flex across from business to high-performance sports. I think there's a really strong link there.
Yep.
What is Leading Teams?
So Leading Teams, basically, it was founded 25 odd years ago by three particular men who joined the 3 businesses together. Two of the founding directors are still in the business, so Ray McLean and Craig Grime. They're still heavily involved in the business, and they wanted to help teams to improve their performance, basically. So Ray does talk about a story of he was working by himself trying to help teams improve, and there was a particular lady on a flight back from Adelaide that asked him, "How many people are in your team, Ray?" And it really got him thinking, well, hang on, I'm advocating teamwork and how to work better together, and I don't have a team myself. So the team at Leading Teams was actually born to espouse what we want our clients to live through, to work through. So everything that we do with clients around high performance, we do as a team. So
got to walk the talk.
That's exactly what it's about, yeah.
Walking the talk. I saw Ray on Open Mic recently.
Yeah. It was a really lovely interview with Mike Sheehan, and there was a lot of history, a lot of stories, a lot of the early work that the model was used. Sort of Ray coming out of the military, meeting Craig there, and created a really strong bond together, and obviously went into business together. And a lot of people say that you should never go into business with your best mate, but those two have bucked the trend, and they're still as strong as ever, and we all admire, or everyone at Leading Teams admires what they've done in business. Yeah.
Good on him, and it's not easy as well. It's very much almost a marriage, a business partnership. So lots of compromises, lots of learnings, and as people are willing to compromise, I find they only end in frustration.
That's right.
That's probably a topic for another conversation, I think.
That's right. We could do that again. Yeah, so that's fine.
Okay, Leading Teams. What is it that you actually do? And 2 questions.
Yep.
What and who do you work with? Who are some of the clients that you work with?
So we essentially work with teams and individuals to improve their performance. We do that through aligning the team. So part of being in a high-performing team, we espouse that you've got to have high-performing leaders. We'll work around establishing a common purpose, and then work quite rigorously around an establishment of the dynamics in a team, and that comes in lots of different forms, but quite simply it's around the relationships and how strong they are in the team, the values or the behaviours that a team will accept or what they won't, and the types of conversations that the team are having and how open the dialogue is within the team. That will generally give us a fair assumption of how the team is performing and what they're trying to do. So,
common purpose, shared purpose, that links to values in your...
No, different. So a common purpose, why does the team exist? And if the team didn't exist, would the organisation or would the world be any worse off? So when you start to think about it from a perspective, you might have a sales team. What's the sales team? What are they? Why does the team exist? You've got a construction
revenue,
team.
Jake.
Revenue,
business,
money, all that sort of thing.
Can be one reason.
That can be definitely one reason. That is the outcome. So it's almost like the process. What are we going to do to be able to get the outcome?
That becomes transactional. There's got to be more to it, doesn't there?
There is.
There's got to be more to it. The clients that you work with, give me a bit of an example.
Look, between sort of 80 and 90% of our work is in corporate now. We have multiple facilitators in each state, and we did a business analysis only recently, and between sort of 80 and 90% of the work that we do is in corporate, some government and some elite sport. So that probably gives us a bit of a cross section of the work. So it's education as well is something that we do a fair bit of work in, but most of it's in corporate.
With common purpose, let's link it back a little bit. The quality of the relationships and the values and the why for existing. That sounds like it starts to link into culture, doesn't it? So what, in your definition, something we at Boom Sales help companies drive or change culture for certain reasons. They may be transactional, as that example we gave earlier. They may be complacent. They may be underperforming. They may not have a leader. Or they may not have somebody equipped to lead the team because of some of those things, the quality of the relationships, their values and their purpose are not aligned. But in your view, what is culture? Because it's a buzzword, people talk about it a lot. What is it?
It's basically in what we would look at, and we would do it really simply whenever we start with a new team. What are the behaviours that you accept or you don't? And the behaviours being that we accept that we know are counterproductive. They're not actually helping us. But we haven't talked about it.
Could you give an example of that?
Being disrespectful, not listening.
Piss off, Joe. What are you talking about?
All those types of things. There's a couple of really off the shelf ones.
Okay.
There's thousands of them.
Okay.
So counterproductive behaviour.
Counterproductive behaviour that's not aligned to values, or just not socially acceptable.
When we talk about socially acceptable, it's different. So when we're talking about in a professional context, what are the behaviours that are not helping us perform at our optimum level? So if you're linking everything back to performance, if you're getting the best results you can, and you're achieving what you set out to do, well done. How are you doing it is more our question. So high performance is not just around competence of doing a task, it's more around character as well. So character is based back around behaviour. Competence is around how you, like an AFL player, like competence and character, how they behave.
Okay. I'm thinking here. You've got me thinking. So culture, acceptable or non-acceptable behaviours.
That would be part of how we describe it. Yep.
Your definition. But your reference to character
is
almost the same thing. A business has to have a character. Individuals have to have a character. Teams have to have a character.
That's right.
So what is character? I know it's not on our cheat sheet here, but what is character?
A team has to define that. So when we talk about an agreed behavioural framework or a trademark, some teams that are aspiring to be high performing, they haven't actually acknowledged, or they haven't set the standard of what it is that defines character. So what we're going to look for from each other as a team. So that's basically, in a nutshell, that's how we would define character. So I don't go in and say this has worked for another organisation and this is what you have to do. I ask some pretty, in your language, masterful questions.
Oh, not for the average.
Not for the average, that's right. And you ask the questions as a facilitator, you start to get a pretty clear look at what we accept and what we don't.
That is a deep conversation, what is character. And I know we're giving some sort of high-level definitions there, but that's something that I want to really dig into a bit, because I think, a lot of cultures that I come across at Boom Sales, they can be, because we're sales and high-performance sales, customer service, customer engagement, ultimately measured by numbers. A lot of cultures are driven by numbers. But you could think, look, a high-performance AFL team ultimately is driven by KPIs,
how many goals you kick,
numbers,
and how many
scoreboard pressure is the number one pressure, as you know, because you're an elite coach as well. We might, hopefully we get time to touch on that. So who drives culture? Because if I've got a numbers culture, and I'm always chasing numbers, that as a salesperson or as a business person, I'm always chasing numbers, always chasing targets, because there's reasons. Revenue drives profit.
Yep.
Scale.
Where do I learn that from, though?
Who told you that? Masterful question. Where do you learn? So where do you learn that? Are you asking me?
I'm asking you, yeah. So if I flip it around, where do I learn that from?
Leaders.
There you go. So in our language, key centres of influence. So leadership is around influence and then their ability to influence weight of numbers. So if you're talking about a team, so if we're saying a sales team, so if you think, Trent, the biggest sales team that you're working with at the moment, in terms of numbers?
3,000.
3,000. So they would have, there's the weight of numbers is 3,000. Who are the key centres of influence that was in that 3,000? So influence is categorised as who listens to who. Who's got some influence? And that could be hierarchical. That could be, I'm the CEO and I'm the managing director, or I'm a director. You might have influence. You might be the cleaner and you might have influence.
If you're a very good cleaner, you may have. If you're rummaging through bins and filing cabinets after hours, you may have a lot of influence.
Who knows?
One of the questions that I'm always asking is who is driving culture? Because there's a lot of blame in cultures. It's driven by this person. I'm the leader, and I'm not happy with the culture. So you come in and fix it for me. What is a better question to be asking if I'm a leader? Because ultimately, who's driving culture is the person that can ultimately change it. And you're saying it has to be those key centres of influence.
Well, to answer your questions, we look at high performance as two things, so dynamics and mechanics. So dynamics is basically around behaviour, relationships and conversations. So we talk about genuine conversations, we talk about strength in professional relationships, and then agreed behaviours. So an agreed behavioural framework is like a trademark. So the dynamics drives the mechanics. So the mechanics is what you're talking about, the KPIs, the technical skill of a salesperson, or a footballer, or a construction manager, or whatever that is. That's the mechanics. That's what they're taught to do. Capability, yeah, or competence.
Competence, yeah.
But the dynamics drives the mechanics. So what happens is in our line of work, when someone says, "Oh, can you come in and work with our team, or can you fix our culture?" How do you know it's broken? That would be my first question. What is it that you need? What's the problem that you need solved? And then you'll start to work through some of the intricate challenges that we as human beings will create for ourselves.
That response typically is my team are disengaged. I don't know how to motivate them.
That's right.
My team need motivation.
Yep.
So the question then, the second question, the next question, always the better question is why?
Well, and I've just finished reading a beautiful book, so Why Should People Be Led by You? Firstly, it comes back to you. When you look at yourself and how much work have you done on yourself? And if I am a follower, why should I be led by you? And my question would sometimes be around, how do you engage the hearts and minds of your followers? And I start to think about, hearts and minds. Geez, right. So I've got to be inspiring. I've got to behave a certain way. I'm starting to describe, things that I might be doing that are counterproductive myself, that aren't getting the best out of my team.
That's self-awareness, in a way, isn't it?
It is.
Being able to work on yourself. That key centre of influence you're talking about is always you.
Mm-hmm.
So in the boom vernacular, the golden influencer, the most important influencer is actually you.
That's right.
What makes someone typically influential is their credibility, their influencing skills, their knowledge, and what can make someone influential is their persistence. Because they're just prepared to keep going. That makes them influential. Underpinning all that is genuine care.
Yep.
If you care about somebody and that shines through, and you have that genuine care, that's can create an element that is very strong to someone becoming a centre of influence. What do you think? The care factor.
The genuine care comes back to authenticity, comes back to integrity, comes back to all those things that are, as a human being. So when you might talk about, what are the leaders or leadership characters that people look up to, they're different because, if I was to ask you who are the leaders that have influenced your life and why you're sitting in this chair today, you would have some people who have influenced you, who have shared stories, who have shared experiences, and it's got you to the stage where you are the father you are, the salesperson you are, the person who influences 3,000 people cultures. I think that's the bit. So the gap, high performance is also around the gap between what you think, so your self-awareness, and what others see. And then sometimes the gap is quite large, and sometimes through feedback and through genuine conversations, we need to trim the gap.
The feedback. Let's talk about that, because I have always associated leading with teams with brutal feedback. I've heard the stories of the chairs, players getting put out the front in front of their peers and them giving them really honest feedback. Some may be mythical stories about that changing Gary Ablett Jr., mythical stories about that changing Ackermanis when he went to the Western Bulldogs. He didn't like what he heard, so he left. It takes strength and character to be really open to constant feedback, because we don't typically seek out negative feedback. So can you talk to us a little bit about that feedback model? Because to me, that's one thing that I've always associated with leading teams.
Yeah, so you mentioned a couple of words in front of the word feedback. So you said brutal and or positive or negative. Where would you say feedback is feedback? And because we care. So you also mentioned the word care before. So if I think that there's something happening that you're doing and our relationship is strong enough to withstand what we would call a genuine conversation, I've got to be able to have that conversation with you. If I don't have the relationship strong enough, then the conversation won't be as genuine as it needs to be able to elicit a change in behaviour.
Goosebump moment for me, Jake. Linking back to you talking about relationships earlier. Yeah, the strength of the relationships will determine the quality of the feedback you can give them.
That's precisely.
So
a lot of the work, when you've heard stories around the elite sports because it's on the back page of paper, but there's thousands of corporate stories of when there's been a fallout in a business partnership, and how do you regain trust and how do you regain respect, and it takes time. That's what we would call say investing in the dynamics in your team. That's the relationship piece, it's the mutual trust and respect, it's the open levels of dialogue, and when things happen, which they do, if people make mistakes, what's our response to that? And sometimes it can be, I'm going to sit in the corner for a while, and the next part of it is, righto, what am I going to do now?
It's carrot and stick to a degree too. Sometimes into those dynamics internally can be driven by performance anyway. Can be driven by rewards, or punishment and accountability, which is two opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
So as a leader or someone that's in a sales team, I would say there is a really simple acronym. So it's RMC: reward the behaviour you want, model the behaviour you want, challenge or confront the behaviour you don't want. Reward, model, challenge. So it's three simple words. The doing part of that is the work, is the challenging part. So where teams are aspiring to be high performing, do you reward the behaviour when you see it every time? Do you model that behaviour that you've espoused and that we've clearly defined? Do you model that, and then do you challenge or confront it when you don't see it?
Brilliant. Modelling. We talk about parents being kids not listening to what you say. They are influenced by what you do. That comes back to walking the talk to a degree. But you got to walk the talk. And the modelling, I think, is a really important aspect of that. But then again, what are you modelling, and who did you learn that from? And what shapes your beliefs, what shapes your values?
Well,
it's different for different people.
That's right. So my relationship with Craig Grime sort of went back to when I was playing VFL footy. So Craig's one of our co-founders, and one of his favourite sayings is "knowing is not doing." So just because you know that you should do something, it doesn't mean that you actually do it. And the other one is, you might have heard it, your actions speak so loudly in my ears, I cannot hear a word you're saying. So your actions, they're so profound, you can talk, but I can see that you actually care. I can say I care, but when it all comes down to it, do you actually care?
Do you actually care?
Do you care?
The core of leadership is care, in my view.
Well, I would.
Core pillar.
There was a core pillar. Yep.
Core pillar is care. Do you care enough to ask better questions?
Precisely.
Do you care enough to give honest feedback because you care? Do you care enough to build a relationship if it's fractured?
Mm-hmm.
That'll often come back to what the payoff is. What's in for me? Do I really want to work hard here to repair this? Should I invest the time and energy? What's the payoff?
Yeah, so then therefore we're now defining what character is. So you said before, what is character and how do you define that? That will be, some people will step up in those situations and some people will step down.
I heard a great quote from, I'm going to get this wrong, I know, but might have been Michael Lombardi.
Okay.
If somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Yep.
Character.
I like that.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
I hope that is his quote. Otherwise, I'll take it.
Yeah, very good.
No, I can't take that one. It's not mine. Character, culture. There's people out there that are thinking about their culture, their teams, and thinking about, okay, there is always room for improvement. Mm-hmm. Will I accept the current state? Do I accept that culture? Do I accept unpredictable performance? Do I accept certain behaviours from individuals in that team? Do I accept that the leader's probably not perfect, but he's the best that I have? All these questions that are constantly, can we replace them? Can we afford to replace the leader? We'll just put up with what we have. Is something that I come across on occasion. Some of our listeners may be thinking those things now, and they're thinking, I know I need to change culture. I need to change something. So how do we change it? If we have identified it needs to change, what's the first thing we need to start thinking about and doing?
Well, the word change. So change is inevitable. It's happening right now, and progress is not. So when you are progressing, either individually or collectively as a group, how are you improving? So if you are if you're stagnant, if you're not innovating, you're not doing something differently, somebody else will pass you. So as an athlete, it's exactly the same thing. There's a shelf life. In business, there's a shelf life. If you're not staying ahead of the game, you're not working on yourself, you're not challenging each other as a team, that's when you can become complacent. That's when you can become a mediocre team. And high performance is around continually striving, continually not looking in the, saying, how good am I? It's, right, what's the next thing? How can I improve? What can I do to continually stay ahead of the game?
That sounds like an elite athlete. It sounds like a person that has the goalpost always moving, that's never content. But it sounds like someone extremely driven to be better, which is the growth. Are you referring to the growth mindset?
Definitely. Yeah. So my little girl, 5 years old, her favourite book at the moment is The Bubblegum Brain. And if you think about this, there's a bubblegum brain, and it's pliable, it's flexible. And she's 5, she gets it. So it's pliable, it's flexible. I fall over, I've got to use my bubblegum brain because I need to grow. The brick brain is I only do it a certain way. I can't do this.
Fixed.
And there's a beautiful word that says yet. So I can't do it, and I would say to Gracie, what have you got to add on the end of it? She'll say yet. So I can't do it yet. That's okay. That's a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is, well, I'll say I can't do it. We can't do it. Everyone keeps telling us we can't do this, so we can't do it.
Yet.
If you say yet, that's the growth mindset clicking in.
Holy moly. I like the yet. Did you hear that, viewers? That's the yet. Write that down. That's powerful. #yet.
Well,
Jake, that to me is another light bulb. You give me 2 here today already.
Well, Luke is at school. There's a local school here in Ballarat, and I know we've done some work at another school at Emmaus College. They have little yet bands for the kids. I've got one at home, and it reminds me that even as young kids and as adults, we still need to remind ourselves that there are limitations that we put on ourselves. And by using that word, it can sometimes break those barriers down.
Love it. Yet, you've really got me thinking here today. So you haven't surprised me. That's why we got you in here. It's
That's
brilliant.
right. No
really,
worries.
I'm learning.
Good.
The yet is something I want to use with my kids because everyone who knows me, my passion, of course, outside of Boom, is the kids' sport.
That's right.
I'm obsessed, and Kelly, my wife, thinks I have an unhealthy relationship with my kids' sport, but I do love it.
Beautiful.
I do love it.
There's nothing wrong
it's
with
the
that,
good
mate.
stuff, and coaching kids as well. So the yet's really important.
Yep.
And coaching is a little bit of a crossover here with coaching your team to create a high performance team. Showing care is one thing, building confidence is the other. And you're talking also about growth mindset. Strong relationships, really feedback.
Yeah. Genuine
No
conversation.
need to define the feedback,
right.
just feedback.
Just feedback.
Common purpose and unacceptable behaviours. What makes a great leader? And I know people have different interpretations of what leadership means. It is a buzzword.
Yeah.
It seems to me a lot of businesses lack leadership. It's there somewhere. What is it? What makes a great leader?
For me, it's really simple. So I look to leaders that I look at even in our business, someone who is invested, someone who models the behaviour that I aspire to look up to. So
role model.
Role model. And I even go outside of the business and I look at my own father and I think about, what he sacrificed, what he did for me to be able to be the man that I am, the husband that I am, the father that I am. It all comes back to my dad. And I know that there's people out there that, that might not be their own father. It might not be their own grandfather. It might be the footy coach. It might be the guy that's that they don't even know who's an AFL player. It might be someone that they met down the street that they're playing hockey against. Leadership it's around. It's everywhere around us, and there are things that we look at role models. We look at people and we go, oh, that's interesting. How do they get there? What do they do there? And it comes back to, I know that a lot of work that you do is around, asking questions and being able to build rapport with people. And I think that comes back to a great leader will be able to build rapport, will be genuinely invested and interested in relationships and in helping others improve, because great leaders don't create more followers, they create more leaders.
The role modelling. The question that I wanted to finish on today, what is the one most important question that all leaders of teams should ask themselves and their teams, but don't? And the light bulb popped here around, am I a role model?
Do I model the behaviour at the moment that we espouse? Do we have values at the moment that we that are real, that we use? They're on a wall or they're on a teacup or whatever, but do I actually live them? There's, I guess, to be able to answer the question that our founder, Ray McLean, his first book's called Any Given Team. I've actually got it here in the studio. It's really worn. I've read it multiple times. The back page of the paper, I'll get Trent to take a photo of it.
Here you go.
There you go. It's called How's Your Team Going? It's really basic. There are no problems to a good leadership and teamwork, but diagnosing the problems doesn't take long at all. In fact, we can do it right now. How would your team describe itself? Is that congruent with what you want? What behaviours do you tolerate in your team that you know are counterproductive? Listen carefully to the people around you. Do you hear the language of responsibility or the language of blame and excuses? Does your team's culture harbour any deep-seated excuses for poor performance? Who are the real leaders in your organisation? What gets noticed in your organisation and why? Is feedback given in your team? Is it honest? Is it done face-to-face? How do the recipients respond? What are the consequences for non-compliance with trademark behaviours? Who are the custodians of those standards? There's your answer.
Impressive answer.
Well, there's about 12 months worth of work just in the back page of the book there. But I think that when you're talking about leadership and the custodians of standards, you think about Kenyans, you think about Africans, you think about the Australian culture, you think about right back to your backyard, your own family. So who are the custodians of the standards? What are the standards that we walk past, or what are the standards that we uphold?
Who told you that? Who taught you that? Where did you learn that from?
Yep.
And we're shaped by our past. It's in terms of the timeline, past, present, future. So that's a really interesting insight into. Most organisations are a little bit confused. There is sometimes a blame culture. People you go straight to blame. It's a default setting. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. Why? Straight to blame. Accountability and role modelling, I think, to me is something people need to learn more about. And understand how important that is in any organisation. I'm always personally looking for the role models. So what is the best practice? What does that look like? Who is it? What are they doing? Why are they doing it that way? Are they doing it differently? Why isn't it consistent? And they're all things that, for me, it's what's working and doing more of that. But what's working may not be optimized. It may not be high performance, but it's a starting point, isn't it?
It is.
So how do you create a high performance team, and how hard is that to achieve? Because in my travels as well, we work with high performing teams. You know, they have worked it out. They have worked out how to optimize their culture. They've worked out how to get the best out of themselves. They're growing. You know, to me, a growing business is nearly always a successful business. They're growing for a reason. Where you get these businesses that are stagnant, they're being challenged in different ways. Perhaps what they were doing once worked, and industries changed, technologies changed, or their competitive landscapes changed. So now they're looking to really go to the next level, and the high performance team might be a stretch for them, but they're looking to grow and they're looking to get better. So the question is, how do you create a high performance team?
Have high performing leaders who reward, model, and challenge the behaviour that we want to see. And then also invest in the dynamics in the team, and that drives the mechanics in the team. So the dynamics is around the behaviours, the relationships, and the conversations that we have in the team, and that drives the mechanics. So the KPIs, the outcomes, the technical skill part of it, the strategic plan, that all sits in the mechanics of a high performing team, and that's basically the high performing team model that Ray came up with, walking his young baby around 25 years ago up in Donald. So that's the model that we still use. That's the framework. Yeah, that's it.
Which I'd love to know more about, not in today's forum though. I think this will be the first episode of many, I'm hoping.
No worries.
Because there's lots to get across, isn't there? So who does that internally though? Because that sounds like there's a lot to it. And there's lots of skill, there's knowledge, there's wisdom, there's lots of dimensions to that. So who's typically going to do that internally in a business?
Yeah, well, I actually had a business I was working with last week, and you know, the old saying is none of us is as smart as all of us, and they look at the head of people and culture, and they go, oh, you're the person that should be running our culture. It's like, hang on, who is responsible for culture in a business? No, it's not just people and culture, it's everyone. So as soon as we start to understand that none of us is as smart as all of us, and we all know different things, but it's be able to create a safe enough environment where we can have that open levels of dialogue, create some clarity, then we can have those types of conversations that are going to be able to improve our performance.
So I've done you go into some businesses and they've got their values up on the walls, and they've got their trademark behaviours sort of on another wall somewhere. But then you quickly identify that, hey, there's some of these things I'm not actually feeling. I'm not seeing these behaviours that they're espousing. Maybe the leaders have gone and done their 2 days off-site somewhere in some exotic place, and they've come up with, they've crafted the vision, they've crafted the team trademarks. But I think there's a chasm between actually doing that and actually embedding.
No doubt, there's a reason for why do we need it. So what is a trademark, and what is it there for? Why have we come up with it? It should give us a sense of, we're creating something that's going to be everlasting. So there's been much talked about, the Sydney Swans culture, the Bloods culture, and how that was created. No dickheads policy. So you could describe what a dickhead is in your business, and then try and work out, okay, do we have any of those, and then what are we going to do about it? So that's, it come back to what are the behaviours that we accept.
Are we prepared to do something about it?
That's right. What are the consequences for non-compliance with trademark behaviours?
What is a trademark?
Trademark could be whatever you make it. It could be it's a behaviour in action. So when I think about a behaviour in action, it's something that you would like to see from me that we can review against. You can give me feedback on whether I do it or I don't do it. It's the old, your actions speak so loudly in my ears I can't hear a word you're saying. I could say I'm doing it, but you need to be able to see me do it.
Can you give us an example?
Show genuine care.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so that's one of our behaviours at leading teams. We just had the Sally McLean vote, which is where we reward the person in our business who lives our trademark the best. And Craig, who actually did the voting for this one, was pick your favourite behaviour, and then who typifies that and who has displayed that in the last couple of months in our business. And we did a Brownlow medal vote, 3-2-1, and the person who wins the Sally McLean medal will receive the actual medal at our Christmas conference this year. We've done 3 of them now, so Sally's been passed away. So Sally was Ray's wife. She was also my Year 10 PE teacher back at Ballarat High School. So I remember Sally and the impact that she had on me as a young boy, and it's something that, I love. That's one of the reasons why I love working for Leading Teams, that we honour her contribution to Ray's life, and also to the impact that she continues to have on all of us at Leading Teams.
Sorry to hear that. I can see the emotion and the authenticity shining through. And that link between people that are creating the story, and Sally is one of the people that have created the story at Leading Teams, and has been heavily influenced in the fabric of creating, what you exist in at the moment.
I think that's what we spoke about that before, about, great cultures have great stories, and ordinary cultures have ordinary stories, and they'll be reinforced, and the great stories will, if they're continually told and there's a lot of truth to it, and they're real, then that will drive culture.
That, my friend, is a masterful question. What is your story? Is it not?
That is definitely a masterful. Everyone's got one though, haven't they?
Deeply thought-provoking.
It is.
It is. What is your story? Tell me about your character. Who are you? What's your own individual personal trademark? Because you talk about team trademarks. Do we apply it to ourselves?
No doubt. So I can share mine, but so mine's an acronym. It's musical. So part of a hobby of mine has been music.
You have a passion for music, and I have heard you sing.
I love my music. Yes,
very late into the night, actually.
That's right. That's okay. But look, it's an acronym. It's how I want. Got boys I coach, my clients, the people that I work with at Leading Teams, how do I want them to see me? And it's an acronym, so it's musical, meticulous, understanding, strong, integrity, courageous, authentic and loyal. And they're the words when when people talk about me, that's what I espouse. So sometimes I get it wrong, sometimes I'm not as understanding as I could be, sometimes I'm not as strong as I could be. Sometimes I'm not as meticulous as I could be. I'm not as prepared as I could be, but I'll review against that. And there's some behaviours in action that I need to hold myself to account. So that's what a personal trademark does. Similar to a team trademark. A team trademark, we should be able to review against it. We give each other feedback on it. We can reward each other. We can also challenge each other when we're not doing it.
Musical. Boom is mine.
Boom, there you go.
Do you know there's a meaning behind boom?
Is there?
Yes,
I'd
two
like
definitions.
To know that.
Did you know?
I don't know. No.
Two definitions. By definition, to prosper or to cause to prosper vigorously or rapidly.
Yep.
The second definition is to create a deep, pronounced, resonant sound. So for us, that's message. It's building confidence. It's message. It's education. So there is a meaning.
I like that.
Yeah. So there's a story behind the name. Boom.
There you
Not
go.
just catchy. I like musical, and you are. There's a creative side to you as well, isn't there? So you're coaching. You're very successful. AFL coach?
Yeah.
Not in the AFL, but in the
local Ballarat
country league.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
so you're generally walking the talk, not just at work. You're doing it as your hobby as well. So you must, you ooze. You're oozing some of the things that you're talking about in terms of really living and breathing and role modelling what you do as a profession. So it's not just turning it off and on while you're at work. You're actually applying a lot of these things we're talking about in other areas of your life.
I think that's part. There's only one. There's one Trent. There's one Jake. There's one of you out there. So it's no. If you're sort of putting a face on when you're going to do something and taking another hat off and doing those sort of things, it's I'd first ask to say, well, who is the real you? That authentic integrity. What makes you tick? So there's a beautiful book by a man named Des Hunt years ago, and he basically he's debunked sort of the disc work around what makes people tick. Overlaid it with some basically the birds, so the eagle, owl, the peacock, and the dove. We all have behavioural preference, but we can all learn different behaviours. So, and when you talked about before about where'd you learn that from, what role model you got, the environment that you're in. The people that you surround yourself with. That's really important.
We use communication styles modelled off Virginia Satir.
Ah, yes, beautiful.
So, very similar quadrants, understanding. Who are you is a great question too, Jake. Just to look,
you?
I'm eyeballing Jake now.
Yeah.
Who are you? That is a masterful question. That's not for the average either, because some people don't know.
No, that's right. Have you answered that yourself? Who are you?
I think we could work on it together.
Okay.
I'd like to work on that together.
That'd be
actually.
good.
I'd love to work on my personal trademark with you.
That would be lovely. Let's do that.
I'd love to do that. We can't do that today, listeners. That'll take days. But who am I? Father. First and foremost, father. And to me, that's given me the greatest meaning in life. Everything changed when I became a father, purely because it became a catalyst for me understanding there's more to life than myself. And at the first time I loved something more in a genuine way than myself. And it was a game changer for me. It put things into perspective. And that's probably the first definition that pops to my head in terms of who are you? First and foremost, I'm a father. Who are you?
Father, coach, facilitator, friend, son, brother, lots of different roles. So, but you've still got to have behaviours that you either accept or you don't. You know, sometimes when you make mistakes, then you've got to have a compass, or you've got to know, or like a signpost. You've got to know, where the rails are. I remember my dad years ago was saying, you got to know where the rails are, Jake, but I reckon you're off the rails at the moment, but you need to be able to jump back on. And I used to think, well, what does he actually mean by that? And it does come back to who you are, what you accept, what makes you happy, what do you enjoy, where do you get your sense of satisfaction or your sense of belonging from?
Guided by your own individual values or trademark per se, which you need to have as an anchor to be able to. To me, a lot of the inertia or frustrations in life can sometimes be just labouring over a decision. So, how do you make decisions? What is a good decision? How do you make decisions? And that's a whole other conversation, isn't it? Do you delve into that as well at leading teams, the decision making?
Of course.
Decision making
it's in
under
high
pressure.
Performance, isn't it? So anything high performance, it comes back to decisions under pressure and how do you behave under pressure.
Well, we need to talk about. We're going to do that in a follow-up episode. This is episode 1. Decision making would be something I'd love to cover because there's different schools of thought with decision making. I'd love to dig into that with you. I reckon we've done a great job here today.
Well done.
Well done to you, my friend. Well done to you. Did we ask that last question? What's the one most important question leaders should ask themselves but don't?
Have you got an answer for that?
The one I gave earlier was, am I a role model? Am I role modeling the behaviours that I want to see my team demonstrate? And then to me, in the boom vernacular, the next question is the better question. So what's the next question? Am I a role model? Am I demonstrating the behaviours I want my team to demonstrate? What is the next question?
Are we achieving everything that we are set out to achieve? That would be something that comes to mind. It's a really good question. It actually has got me thinking. I'd love to spend a bit more time on coming back to that. There's so many questions going through my head right now. What's the one most important question? Are we happy?
One. Am I happy?
Am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Do I get a sense of contentment? Am I engaged? Am I succeeding?
Do I care?
Do I care?
Do I genuinely care about my team? Do I genuinely care about talking negatively about teammates? We pay this person; they're idiots. They do a pretty good job. Do I genuinely care about these people?
If we're in a team and we're asking what's the most important question, and it's probably just come to me then as you was talking, but it's do we trust each other?
Ooh. Master question. Do you trust me? Do we trust each other? Do we trust each other?
So you start to think about it. There's lots of different ways we will review against the levels of mutual trust and respect in a team.
Next question. Why? If the answer is yes or no, it's why. Okay, I need to know why you trust me. I need to know what you value.
That's right. Yeah. So there's levels of trust. So there's varying levels of trust. So how do you conduct a review where I can get to the stage where I can test how strong our relationship is based on our levels of mutual trust and respect? And is that as strong as it could be? And are we performing at our optimum level?
Yeah. do you trust me? Masterful question. Do we trust each other? And why? Do you have to like the people you're working with? Because this is a thing for customers as well. Like, I don't have to see in Boom language. I don't like you because of character and the things you're demonstrating, but I still care about you, or I still care about servicing you as a client. You know, that's a service mantra that we embed into businesses, because, you know, we naturally sell to and buy from people we like or share a likeness with, and we'll switch off to customers we don't like, based on communication styles you mentioned earlier, or personality types. Where was I going with that?
I don't know. That's okay. That's all right.
We're talking about trust.
Yeah, trust.
Do we have to like people?
Do you have to like?
High performance teams, because think about personalities in teams. High performance teams, let's go from business to sport.
Yep.
Egos. You know, you talk about people get unbelievably high paid. They have been maybe nurtured and guided to be a certain athlete, and they've been sort of given opportunities that others haven't. So they have a healthy sense of self, maybe too healthy. And there's personality clashes and there's differences in all teams, isn't there? So how do you create a high-performance team if you don't like the people you're working with?
Yeah, so we use the strong professional relationship. So to be able to look at a professional relationship, what's the difference? So a personal relationship, so my relationship with Kylie, we do some work together as well.
Who is Kylie?
So Kylie's my wife.
Your wife?
So we have a personal relationship. She would be the boss. That's right. But if we were working particularly, so she's a school teacher. If I was working in the school, probably a better example would be my brother-in-law, so Kylie's brother, so John. So he's one of the directors at Petstock. I do some work with them, which I know you've done some work with Petstock before. I have done some work with our friends at Petstock. Great company. Right, great company. So John's one of the directors there, but we've got obviously a personal relationship, but we've also, I do some work with the organisation, and I've got to see John in a professional context. So that's one of the, probably the things that I take away when I work with Petstock, is I see people that I've known in a personal context, but I get to see them in a professional setting. And the professional relationship is different to a personal relationship. In our model, in a high performing team, it's not about being best mates. It's about even liking each other, but it's having a strong enough professional relationship to withstand a genuine conversation around behaviour or performance.
That removes almost that personality clashes, being able to understand people are different. I don't need to work with you, but we do share the same values, and we are actually moving in the same direction together. And if we help each other, everyone succeeds, the team succeeds. Oh,
and I'm sure you would have seen it, but people or teams using excuses that, this person's not like me, so I'm not going to build a relationship with them. That's not you don't use that as an excuse for somebody else to be more like you. It's more about how you can adjust and modify and work on yourself so that you can then build relationships with other people that may be different. So if we're all the same, it'd be pretty boring, wouldn't it?
It would be very boring. That's the spice of life, they say. So they say. Jake, I trust you, which is why I brought you in here today. And my trust has been validated because I've devoured this stuff today. I hope our readers, our listeners, people that are viewing this have taken as much value away as I have. I've taken away quite a bit here. You can see my notes here. They're scribbled all over this run sheet. So I appreciate you coming in today. I appreciate you looking forward to the next step and learning more. And I might even throw to our listeners to ask them, what would they like to know more about when it comes to leadership, creating high-performance teams and culture? Because that would be very interesting to know. I certainly would love to get more into trademarks and decision-making. I think that's a really important factor in any high-performing team. So thanks for coming in, mate. Appreciate your time. Much. I do have some gifts for you.
Oh, thank you.
You brought a gift for me too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I've got The Naked Salesman. That's I haven't read that one yet, so I'm looking forward to having a read of that.
Get into your jocks when you wear that.
Have you actually got those socks?
I do have those socks still at home.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I do have those socks.
Nice.
I've got a...
thank you.
There you go, not for the average hat for you.
Good. I've got to play a bit of golf on the weekend, so I might be able to wear that.
That's your new golf cap.
That'll be good.
We've got and you give me a book here as well, which is written by the co-founder of Leading Teams, Ray McLean.
Yep.
Teamwork, Forging Links Between Honesty, Accountability and Success. Now, I have read that, and I devoured it many, many years ago, so I'm going to crack back into that.
When we first met, I reckon I might have given you that one, but or maybe before then, was it? You've acquired that book.
Yeah, I think I did.
There you
I think
go.
I did. Yeah, so I'm gonna rip back into that. For those of you that haven't, really very very good read. Teamwork by Ray McLean. You could probably find that on Amazon, I would imagine, and you can probably find that
Definitely find it on our website. So.
Leading Team. So if somebody is interested in, I know it was not about promotion today for you. You made that really clear. But if someone if someone's really been triggered today, or it's got them thinking more deeply about how to get the best out of their team, how do I create a high performance team? Where do they go to find you?
www.leadingteams.net.au.
Very good. Okay, simple. That brings our show to an end, and thanks for joining us today. And remember, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify. You can get social with us via Boom Sales on Instagram, Facebook, or boomsales.com. And remember, this show is not for the average. See you next week.
You've been listening to Not For The Average podcast with Trent Leyshan. Trent is Managing Director of Boom Sales, Australia's #1 sales training and development company. If you'd like to accelerate your own sales growth and profitability, go to boomsales.com.au.